Good afternoon. It is April the 23rd. I'm doing something I haven't done for a while, which is take a proper walk, not just going downtown or something. I'm going to walk along the creek, which I used to do every Monday, but here it is Wednesday, so not quite on the old schedule. They're putting a new roof on over there, it looks like. A lot of hammering and stuff. It's a beautiful day. It's only 8 degrees, but it feels warmer because of the sunshine. So we'll go see what the creek looks like these days. It was very high after the snow melt. Probably has gone down a bit now, although we did have that snow just yesterday. Hard to believe looking at this, that yesterday I was walking in the snow, but there you go. Not a sign of it, a shine. Not a shine of it today. Not a sign of it today. And you can see the grass is even greening up. I haven't looked close, but probably there are buds beginning to show in the trees too. What did I do today? I went to the gym. What else? I did some writing. I don't know how many words, but a good chunk on Fifth Magic today. Dancing it along nicely now that I kind of know how it's all working. I think I mentioned that I sort of talked my way through it driving back from Saskatchewan last week, recorded it, and then had Grok do a summary, which looks pretty good. I also have the complete unedited transcript, of course, but the summary is very useful. Kind of helped me pin down what I was thinking. I wish that I had double tied my shoes. I may have to stop and tie them. I thought about that. Darn it. The one on the left feels a little loose already. But if I have to, I'll have to. It's always a bit awkward when you're live streaming if you have to stop and tie your shoe. I usually double tie them. Maybe it'll hold. Look how green that grass is. That's real grass too. I've seen some really green grass, but on closer inspection it turns out to be an astroturf. Or some other brand name, but you know what I mean. Artificial turf. I'm always a little reluctant to do a walk on the day I went to the gym because I spent an hour and a half at the gym by the time I went, did it, and came back. That's a huge chunk of my day, but today I'm feeling no significant time pressure on any immediate deadline, so I figured I could. And it's such a beautiful day, I just wanted to get out and walk. So here I am. Airplane heading to the airport, which is over that way a ways. Yes, there are campaign signs up. This is actually NDP territory, but all the NDPers seem to have decided they're going to vote Liberal this time. I've only seen maybe one NDP sign. And if you don't know the difference, well, there's not much. I've already voted. I voted Conservative, so there you go. Should you have wondered, if you've watched me long enough, there probably wasn't much doubt. And we'll see how it all plays out on Monday. The polls show the Liberals with the commanding lead, but I'm hoping it's at least not as commanding as it appears. We'll see. Oh, this house has come a long way. It's the last time I walked along here. Every time an election comes along, I'm reminded of H.L. Mencken's famous quote that democracy is the idea that the public knows what it wants and deserves to get it good and hard. Well, the water is definitely high. Creek still. Doubt it's done. I'm probably still working inside, but the exterior looks pretty done. There's even a car parked back there. Oh, there's plants. I think people have moved in. Boy, it has been a long time since I walked along here. It's an interesting house. Not my favorite design of all time, but I guess they like it, which is all that matters. I remember the last time I walked down here, sometime in the winter. It's like this is always a big garden. It looks like it's already being prepped, probably. There's our first dog. Always a dog walker, or two or three. Oh, duck down there in the creek. Yeah, there's usually quite a good garden down there, and looks like they're already getting ready for it. This tree will be lovely once it buds and then blooms. Always is. I am seeing buds when I look close at the trees, so usually by the May long weekend, which is about a month away, we'll have leaves. We have trees. We'll have leaves on the trees. Up here and cross the bridge. Anybody tobogganing, so no point going down this side of the dike. Past the bowl. There's still snow hiding here and there. There's a pile from being cleared down the alley, probably. No ice. No ice. Now it's ducks. Oh, there's a happy little couple down there dreaming of ducklings. Okay, we go over the bridge and through the woods. Not a lot of woods, but some woods. And we're not going to grandmother's house. But other than that, we will stop for the traditional view, looking east along the creek. A little bit further and look west along the creek. Carry on. Follow that bike over there is the way we're going. Hello. Good. It's our second dog walker. Not quite sure why there's these piles of dirt here, but they're not mud at the moment. The creek is very muddy. That's another way you can tell that it's quite high and flowing quite rapidly compared to what it'll be later on. I might go down through the Kiwanis Waterfall Park instead of this way just to see what's down there. It's usually a bit flooded. And they won't have turned on the waterfall yet, so I don't know. Maybe I won't. I'll at least look at it, but I'll probably stay along the creek here. It's more interesting. It's high enough that there are trees along the bank that are in the water. They won't be later in the summer. Another dog over there? No, just two people, no dogs. So our dog count is currently 2. That's not unusual. Seeing no dogs at all is unusual. know that it's ever happened, in fact. We'll go over here and take a look at the creek at the waterfall. Oops, waterfall park. It looks like the water's down quite a bit from last time I looked over here. Maybe I can go down and cross the little bridge. Yeah, it was flooded last time I took a look, but it isn't now. So we'll go down here and cross the little bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The only water that flows in here is when the waterfall is flowing. And of course, it's not a real waterfall. It's a pumped waterfall. They pump water out of the creek and pump it over the waterfall, and then it flows back into the creek. But it's a nice feature, very popular with pictures. We've even had the Wascana Voices choir I sing with 2 years ago. We had our picture taken here, or 3 years ago, whenever that was. I can't even remember how long I've been singing with them now. It'll be a while. Although it is wet there. I wonder if they had it on temporarily just to test it or something. And it has this little artificial creek. It flows back to the real creek. Almost fell down those stairs. So I guess we can stop on this bridge too, but you know, it's quite as scenic, looking both directions. All right, well, since I came this way, now I have to decide what I do next. It's probably wet in the grass, so I either go to the main road to my left, or I go this way back along the creek. Guess I'll go back along the creek. I could honestly have done this in shirt sleeves, I think. So walking generates enough heat that it wouldn't have seemed too cool after a fairly short time. Oh, wait a minute, I have to... That's because I recorded the Wascana Voices. Live stream the Wascana Voices concert on here. That's why you would have gotten that, I'm sure. There's our third dog. It's probably a little wet down there, so I won't walk down by the creek over there this time. Yes, and for anyone else watching, either live or recorded, if you'd like to see Wascana Voices in concert, choir Isaac and Arthur, who just said hi, sings in it as well. You can find that on my YouTube channel, The Last Concert. And Wascana Voices has its own YouTube channel where you can also find concerts. Just that this time, for complicated and not very interesting reasons, I looked after the live streaming. I'll go down this way. So it showed up on my channel live. This Sunday there'll be a new episode of the World Shapers podcast as well, which also shows up on this channel. Jerry Bobbitt Clubhouse. I don't know who Jerry was, but he got a clubhouse named after him. These, of course, are the baseball diamonds along here. Won't be too long for people are playing on them. Probably in May, I would think. Okay, maybe the dumpsters aren't particularly scenic, but this is Elphinstone coming up over here. The geese. Headed to that crosswalk you can see up there. And I'll be back along the creek after that. Is that a squirrel, I think? Yes, a squirrel. You probably can't see it. It's very tiny in the screen, but I can see it over there by the tree. Squirrel! Hello. Sorry, trying to read it. Donna from Washington State. Hi, welcome. Welcome to Regina. Hope your weather is as nice as ours today. Reading things is always a bit fraught. I have to get the sun out of my eyes, and then I have to try to make my old eyes focus and say, don't wear my reading glasses while I'm walking. Maybe I should. Certainly make it easier. And everything else would be fuzzy beyond a certain distance. So it's an old house there, I would think, with that shape and simplicity, with a white picket fence. All right, here we go along Elphinstone Street. Elphinstone Street. Elphinstone Street. Here we go along Elphinstone Street so early, late in the afternoon. Won't be long before everything buds. There's going to be double digits now, like really springy for the next couple of weeks, it looks like. Up to 20 some days, 18, 19, 20. So very, very nice. I have to go to Saskatchewan next weekend for Pop YXE. That's the Comic Con style convention that I sell books at every year. And then I come back on Sunday, and then on Wednesday I go back up there again for the Saskatchewan Libraries Association conference and for Saskatchewan Book Awards. And then I come back. Then a few days after that I go up again for Canscape, which is the Canadian Society of Children's Authors, Illustrators, and Performers. That's what that stands for. And they're having a conference, and I'm going up and we'll talk about publishing, and I'm doing some what you call, usually they're called blue pencil sessions, even though I don't use a blue pencil, where you 20 minutes with an author, look at some sample they provided and provide my feedback. Very much what I used to do as writer in residence in Regina and Saskatoon when I did that. Now we leave Kinsman territory into West Sherman Park. One reason I cut back on the long walks is because of the ice, but that's no longer a problem, thank goodness. They dug this all up last year, and I'm still not sure why. But when we get across the bridge up here, you'll see the forest they have planted, which is interesting. Sherwood Forest. No, there actually is a Sherwood Forest around here. This will be, what did they call it? Cathedral area forest? Something. It has a name. There actually is a Sherwood Forest not far from here. No Robin Hood, though, that I'm aware of. Golf course. I'm sure Robin would have preferred to have been golfing instead of running around trying to steal money from Prince John. All in a good cause, of course. You really see the creek looks high here, but the banks are lower. This will just be my usual, well, yeah, no, I don't think I want to go a little further. Sometimes I go further, but it's quite possible the bridge is closed anyway. The water might be too high to go under the bridge. So I'll just come up here, turn right on Pasco Street, go down to 15th, and that'll be the turnaround point, heading home from there. Shorter because it's more straight lines, and this is quite meandering what I've done so far. Oh yeah, there's actually You can actually see a hint of green in those trees over there. They're very close to budding out. Very close. On the verge. These signs are always funny this time of year. Yeah, I'd say so. As thin as the ice gets. That long ago, I walked along here and walked out on the ice. Well, it doesn't feel like that long ago. It's probably 3 months. The trouble is, my old pattern won't work with the going to the gym 3 times a week. Especially if I go in the morning, which is my preferred time when I can get it, 9 a.m. I'm there from 9 to 10. Then I have the rest of the day free to do other things. The other time I go sometimes is 3 to 4. Then that's pretty much kills the afternoon. Only had an hour and a half or so before you have to head that way. So. Well, I think on Friday that's my current timing, unless, where is it? Next week I have one. I don't know. Anyway, I've gone back and forth on it. The good thing about the 3 to 4 one is that it's later in the day and you're not, ruining your day by starting it with exercise. But in any event, that's why my walking is probably going to continue to be somewhat less than it once was, just because my exercise is no longer just walking, but there's this other component as well. Okay, now we're looking east again, more or less. You can see how the trees are starting to blush with pale yellow and green over there. And here, some of them are, I think they've already started to bud for sure. And down, there's a couple of ducks. West, the Pasco Street Bridge, which is where we will turn around. And all these stakes up here on the left is where the forest is going to be. Every stake marks a tree. Now, might still be a little wet down there somewhere. So, doesn't look too bad. It's shorter to go this way. I think I'll go this way. I don't think I'm going to run into mud, even though it snowed yesterday. It looks pretty dry. Yeah, so all these little white things mark a tree. And this is going to be a forest of sorts, or wood, probably a better term. There's our 4th or 5th dog. A little damp along here, but I don't think it's going to cause me any problems. This way we're closer to the creek, in addition to cutting off a pretty big swath of distance. See what happens this spring as the trees begin to grow out there. They just planted them last year. Somewhere there was at least, kind of a key, because the different colors of flags reference different species of trees. I'll sit on the grass here. There's definitely some mud in the bike. Oh, great. And there is, in fact, that's what I was wondering about. Big, watery pool up there. And I'm not sure there's any way around it. Maybe right up against the trees I can stay out of the mud. Looks like the mud goes right up to the forest over here. And then there's more water beyond that. This may not have been a wise choice on my part. We'll see what we can do. It's pretty damp around that direction. Possibly because the ground's a little higher on this side, it may be okay. Don't want to get my feet wet. Hazard here, of course, is not poking my eye out on a stick. It's a little slippery too, but not too bad. Once I get over here, though, I'm going to have to get over there, I think, to go around this puddle. Looks like I can do that up here. I wonder. That puddle is so significant, it's got geese in it, or ducks. Okay. Ooh, that still looks pretty wet, but maybe if I'm careful. The low spots are definitely on the wet side. You know what? No. No, I think I get into unavoidable dampness down that way too. So let's see if we can go around it on this side without getting in too much trouble. Squish, squish. Didn't wear my boots, I just wore my runners. Okay, well, next time I come along, until this is all dried up, I will not take the path along the creek. Get even closer to the forest here, it might be even better. Somewhat anyway. So again, all these little flags mark different trees, which, if all goes well, will be growing there. We could do it, but I think I'm going to go on the other side here just to stay out of the mud. Don't seem to be any trees planted right along here anyway. I won't step where the trees are too much. There are a few here, they just don't have flags on them. Okay, now we'll get back on the proper path, although it may be flooded as well, it sometimes is. Especially over there, which is quite a low spot in the lake. Well, somebody's coming from that direction, so I guess I'll take my chances. Always lots of water this time of year along here. Looks like the path is clear enough, maybe. I'm careful. Oh, there's water right here, but she just came this way. I think if I go right down the middle here, I can stay on high enough ground I won't get my feet wet. No, maybe not. Okay, I'll go a long way around here. There's the creek again, very high. Yeah, I figured there'd be some up here, but it's not as bad as some years. Probably was worse earlier, right after the snow melted. I think that's our 5th dog of the walk. The snow mostly melted while we were gone. We were gone for 12 days to, well, 12 days? Yeah, about 12 days. To Ottawa and then to Prince Edward County, Ontario. While we were gone, they had a huge spate of really warm weather. When we came back, the snow was gone. When we left, there was still a lot, so kind of missed the melt this year. Now, this can be very slippery, this little layer of mud here, so I'm going to slow down. Walk very carefully. A thin layer of mud is every bit as slippery as ice, maybe more so. Dog 6 or 7, I've lost count. Wonder if the bridge is open. I'm not going that way. Should be able to see from up here. No, I think it's definitely watered over. The pathway is submerged. So I couldn't go that way even if I wanted to. I could go up and over and down, but I won't. I'm going to make this the turnaround spot. We'll head back that way. There is a weir up there, can be fun to look at, but I don't feel like walking that far today. Already had a walk earlier, I just didn't live stream it, so this will be a good walking day by the time it's all said and done. Plus the gym visit, so getting my exercise. Sask Express over there, young people's performing school and theater company. Not exactly theater. Musical theater, I guess. They have done full-scale productions, but not recently. The gym there is their theater, which works for some shows. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of height to it, which limits what you can do. Regina Musical Theater that I'm part of and was president of twice back 20-some years ago now, did Putnam County, 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee in there. I wasn't in it, but I saw it. And it worked really well because, of course, it's a school spelling bee, so school gym was the perfect place for it. Lyric is doing Sister Act next week, I guess. I'm going to get to opening night on the Thursday, and then I'll be gone, which is why I didn't audition. Not a lot of parts from in Sister Act. All the main ones are, of course, the nuns, but there were a couple that I might have had a shot at, but I didn't audition. Anyway, my last few auditions haven't been very successful. Not sure. Well, I was in a show a year ago playing Maurice in Beauty and the Beast, so yeah. But I put in my name and resume for Live Spirit at Persephone Theatre in Saskatoon. Didn't get an audition. So. I had some hope because I know the director. I was in 12th Night with him at Globe Theatre in Regina many years ago, but alas, it was not to be. So the last professional show I did has been a while now. I'm a member of Canadian Actors Equity, but it's always been a very minor sideline. It's becoming more of a sideline all the time, I guess. My appeal is becoming more selective, isn't that the Spinal Tap? Excuse? Remember when that house was being built, it turned out to be a big one. I love theater. You know, given the choice between performing and writing, I would probably perform, but I knew from the beginning that was a difficult row to hoe. Not that freelance writing isn't. Oh, our scavengers. That does not look very safe. He has no way to see and can't be very well balanced. But today was recycling day, although the recycling stuff should have been already picked up, so wouldn't have thought he'd found much, but he seems to have found 2 bags full of something. It's our 7th dog, perhaps, over there. The other side of Les Sherman Park. Back when I jogged, this is where suddenly you were going downhill after going uphill, so it was always a nice change. That was a long time ago I was jogging. It's before I started walking. Because I would jog, and I would jog basically this path, and I could do it, which, you know, made me feel good. I was 60 then, I guess. But then my knees would be so stiff and uncomfortable, I had to rest them. I couldn't jog again for a few days, and so that didn't seem very effective as an exercise technique. So I switched to walking and started doing the live streams. And well, as I said, my walking has fallen off a bit from its peak. I'm still doing it. And often I walk even though I don't live stream it because I'm doing short segments. It doesn't seem to be worth the effort. So just because you don't see me on here doesn't mean I'm not walking. On a day like today, it's an absolute pleasure to walk. So lovely with the sun and yet cool. Still working up a sweat, but I am exercising somewhat. Doing this. It's not exactly a brisk walk, but it's a walk. A fairly brisk walk. If I were just walking somewhere without live streaming, probably be more like about this pace. But when I'm talking along the way, I tend to slow down so I'm not out of breath when I'm trying to provide you with this scintillating commentary. Soccer field there. My daughter played soccer. She was in youth soccer for a year, maybe. It was pretty obvious early on that this was not going to be her thing. I remember her being here once anyway. I think her and her friend, while the game was going on, were kind of crouched down in the middle of the field looking at bugs or something. So that was one indication that perhaps soccer wasn't her passion by any means. Dance turned out to be the thing that she really latched onto. Could have been figure skating, potentially. She loved that too, but couldn't do both, and so she chose dance. And now she's off in London, England, getting a master's in dance science. So of such decisions, our entire careers based on such decisions, on such decisions, our entire careers based, would be a more grammatically and felicitous way of saying that. Always editing. I've actually got the next book. It's coming out in July. I've got to get edited right away. Called, he ran that stop sign, Gods of the New World. Science fiction tale set in the not too distant future where the most powerful people who've ever lived, trillionaires who managed to rebuild the world after something of a worldwide collapse, now have so much power there, thanks to their AIs and other technology, that they're actually trying to turn themselves into gods. That's what Gods of New World is about. Hello? That looks like spam. Can't do anything about it now, but I'll delete it if that's what it is when I get a better look at it when I get home. That's on Facebook, so you probably aren't seeing it on YouTube. Whatever it was, I can't even read it. Looks like spam. I think that's a nice looking little house. Or not so little. Yeah, that's spam. That's a very colorful house over there. Interesting little house, but the color is what makes it stand out. Seems to be a popular shade of stucco. It's about the third house I've seen with basically the same color scheme. Make that 4. Wonder if the guy came in and said, let's do the whole block. It's rather dramatic because of the dark color and then the red roof. And that's a big one over there with siding. Quite a good sized one. Uh, I don't understand the appeal of rap, but that's just me. Okay, we got to cross here. Down 15th here. One, zero, yellow, and walk. Now, back when I was jogging, this was an even better corner to turn, because once you turn here, you're headed. The screen has gotten very dim. I hope my battery's not about to run out. It's all downhill to the creek from here. If I suddenly go away, it's because the battery died. It's not gone yet, because I can still sort of see the screen, but may have gone to low power mode or something. It's not that cold, so I thought it would last longer, but I have noticed that this iPhone's battery life is not that great.